Hi guys, we got another hard rant for you. I told you we were gonna do two. I told you we were gonna do two hard rants. So here we are. We're gonna talk about some Dragon Age and what they have right now. Right now, if you enjoy Dragon Age FailGuard and you want to see Dragon Age FailGuard flourish, I'm gonna let you know you won the fucking lottery and have a great time playing the game. This has nothing to do with you guys enjoying the game. Now, if you're playing around and fucking around with people that don't like FailGuard, like me, and you're just going off and being a dick towards them, even vice versa, please don't. People can have opinions like me or you, okay? If you want to enjoy FailGuard, you won. You won the lottery, have fun. But some of us, we're gonna probably go back to Dragon Age Origins. But anyway, I wanna find out a little bit more information on Dragon Age FailGuard. I got two videos for you. I'll definitely put a description on the two people that I'm showing you right now, because I'm gonna react to them and I want to show them the proper respect. I'll put their information down in the description. But first, we are probably going to talk about the mechanics and what overall is the gameplay and what you're going to get in the game, and then we're going to talk about the story right after. Also, by the way, like I said, I'm not going to play FailGuard because, well, one, it kind of doesn't give me the vibe of Dragon Age, and two, pronouns. If they give me an option to not touch pronouns, I'll probably try to play the game, but if I have to choose, I'm not playing the game. I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to that.
Today we're going to take a look at Dragon Age the FailGuard's classes, specializations, and skill trees. Once again, Game Informer has come through by posting a few skill tree screenshots.
Game Informer has been giving off a lot of information on the game. A lot of information, almost too much information, but we'll talk about that later.
We will be looking at today, and I will leave a link to that article down below. So the three classes that you get to choose from include the Mage, the Warrior, and the Rogue. Now this doesn't sound like a lot of choices here, especially for an RPG. And it's not, but do keep in mind that there were only three classes in the previous Dragon Age games, and each class here comes with three unique specializations, which are...
This is actually pretty unique, bringing it back to the old Dragon Age. To where you could branch off and be other things. So being an evoker, spellblade, deathcaller, champion, reaper, slayer, all these seem pretty interesting. I can't stress this enough. I think they should have added a fourth one. That's my thing. They should have added a fourth one, because I think a fourth one, a mage, a warrior, a rogue, and then maybe an elementalist or something like that. I know that could be tied off to the mage, but I think that there should be some level of a healer. I firmly believe that. They used to have healers, and now they're gone.
Are basically like your subclass choice, with each of these specializations getting their own unique ultimate.
Or somebody who is straight up a ranger. Instead of a Veil Ranger that you hear right here, split apart the rogue and add a ranged class that can branch off and be different other ranged. You can have like a ranger, you can have like a this is an engineer that can probably bring out turrets and stuff like that. Something like a bit like some cool ass dwarf with a boomstick or something like that.
Ability. But before we get too deep into it, I've partnered with Geology to bring you this sponsored video. Geology creates simple and effective skincare and hair routines that are customized just for you with ingredients that are proven to work and trusted by dermatologists. I've seen the demographics of my channel, folks. It's time to start taking care of your skin so you can finally...
Listen, my chat likes it when I look busted. So if I take that away, well, then what am I? Okay, maybe I need to take care of my skin. All right, shut up.
Start looking like your favorite video game companions. As you can see here, I've got my everyday face wash, morning moisturizing cream, night cream, and also eye cream for those dark circles that get darker every year, but no more. Geology has 10,000 plus 5-star reviews and 30 prestigious awards, including nods from Men's Health and awards from Oprah Daily Grooming. I basically wake up, wash my face with the everyday face wash. That feels good. Then it's morning moisturizing cream before a nice morning walk in the sun, as it does have SPF protection. And then before bed, the eye and the night cream. Reduced oiliness, smoother, more hydrated skin, less darkness around the eyes, and hey, it's always good to get ahead of that wrinkle game. Yeah. Geology products are also super easy to use and understand, and with the routines being tailored for each individual, the commitment feels natural and easy. So what are you waiting for?
Lord,
use my code WOOLPART70 and grab 70% off on the skincare trial set link below. And remember, there's also 50% off on add-ons waiting for you. This is one of those offers you'll look back on and think, best decision ever. Get it before it's gone. Back to the video. Now, before we get into each specific class though, let's do a quick overview of your player character's skill tree, which you will access by entering the start menu.
Let's see, the champion, the reaper, the slayer. So this is more into the warrior class. Interesting. I think they had this previously. The champion would obviously be like the paladin class. How you gonna have all these damn abilities? How you gonna have all these damn abilities, but you can only use 3 abilities in a slot? There's gonna be a lot of passives.
Menu. You may first notice here that this character is level 30, and we did actually learn that max level in Dragon Age the FailGuard is going to be level 50.
That's good.
I also want to point out that although the character's level is 30 here, there are 43 nodes that have been filled in on this particular skill tree. You do gain a single skill point on each level up, but there's also some other ways to gain points as well. The total nodes on a full skill tree appears to be around 168. So
168. It's pretty normal. It's nothing fancy. It's pretty normal. Here we go.
The hexagon in the center of the skill tree right here is where you'll start investing your points, with the center node essentially being the unlocking of the class. There might also be something tied to it, but that's the way that I'm currently looking at it, with the rest of the nodes in this hexagon likely being part of the core base class selection. And then from this center hexagon, as you level up and gain skill points, you can eventually go across these node bridges right here, which will bring you into this outer ring of a hexagon. The nodes that you invest into in this hexagon right here start to denote your play style and, let's say, party role. And there's 6 different sections in this hexagon.
It looks like you can branch off and go into the specialization. I don't know if specialization is locked via maybe a story mission, or you could just walk right in using your points. But having somebody who is a champion / reaper would be interesting.
With 3 of the sections actually having their own
like
labels.
Subclass.
With the warrior class, we have survival, weapons, and abilities. And you'll also notice that there's a few nodes that actually go outside of the border of this hexagon, as you can see right here. Now there's 3 outer hexagons here. As you can see, we have one right here, the champion, the reaper, and also the slayer. This represents your class's specialization, or subclass, if you will. Now, while you were in the previous hexagon right here, you can kind of zigzag which way that you want, go into multiple different sections. With the class specializations, it's much more isolated, and it actually appears as if you have to kind of go through some sort of gateway node or entry point node. And do note, you can only be one specialization at a time.
Oh.
You may also notice that
Well,
individual
that sucks.
nodes have different shapes and sizes. The diamond node.
I don't know about you, but I'm looking at this thing, and is it just me, or is this skill wheel kind of small? It's kind of small to me. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I don't know. It's kind of small to me. I don't know. Let's keep going.
Nodes represent your class's abilities, of which you could have 3 active at a time. The slightly larger diamond, which you'll see is actually a hexagon when I switch over to a...
Because you got to remember, this is 10 years and they got this small ass wheel. Maybe that doesn't equate to 10 years of making the game, doesn't mean more content. It probably just means that probably means absolutely nothing. But 10 years in this small wheel, I don't know.
different screenshot. These represent your traits. The medium-sized circles represent your major passives and ability upgrades.
Okay.
And the smaller circles represent minor passives and stat boosts.
So those little spike things that are on the side are probably actives, maybe?
And we did get a more zoomed in screen.
No, it's not. Oh, a zoomed in version? Well,
Shot, as you can see here.
I want to see this. Wall of fire, duration and control type. 50 damage on fire. The cooldown is 60 seconds. Summon a flaming barrier, burning enemies foolish enough to cross it. Enemies incur damage. Alright, pretty simple.
Here, where the player is hovering over the wall of fire ability, or I could say spell, represented by a diamond node, and this node is within.
Yeah, okay, so the diamond mode, the diamond node is actually the, the abilities. So how many abilities would it take for you? You got 1, 2, what the hell? How many abilities? No, go back, go back. How many abilities? Let's look at the whole thing. What? 1, 2, 3. Okay, they're branched off and they change, kind of like Diablo 4. 5, 6. I knew it was going to be more than 3. Holy crap. There's... You got so many actives, but you can only use 3 during a fight. Ugh. I hope you can use more abilities than just 3, man. I'm waiting on that.
Passives and stat, perhaps some switch between loadouts mid, as each specialization hexagon has one of those nodes, but you will notice a node that looks similar in the center hexagon as well, so perhaps some sort of special unique class ability. Keep in mind, you know, we're still figuring this stuff out. The more information that comes out, hopefully we're gonna get some more soon. I should also mention, outside of,
as you're referring to the abilities, I missed that.
Perhaps some sort of special unique class or in the center.
Oh, if there's a unique class later on, I would like to hear about that.
Hexagon as well, so perhaps some sort of special unique class ability. Keep in mind, you know, we're still figuring this stuff out. The more information that comes out, hopefully we're gonna get some more soon. I should also mention, outside of these skill trees, that you do get weapon loadouts in this game, and you can apparently switch between loadouts mid combat, and it seems like you'll be able to have 2 weapon loadouts.
That's actually kind of nice. You know how many games that are actually really good with no loadouts? That's actually, in mid-game, you can switch your loadout. That's actually really interesting. I wonder how deep they go on to that, though.
In the previous 12-page Game Informer article, it was mentioned that
12 pages? Jesus Christ, why don't you just give us the ending?
Mage was using a staff, and then they switched to magical daggers. Unfortunately, we don't know yet if switching your loadout will also switch your 3 active abilities. Hopefully it does, as 3 active abilities is quite limiting for an RPG. Before we jump into the class...
Yeah, the Pride Demon just looks like a big glob of purple bullshit. If there was a Pride Demon, you know how I would draw the Pride Demon? He would look like a fucking demon, but he would have the baddest, sickest, spiky armor with a hammer and a giant shield. That is literally, and he would have a giant frown on his face. And that is like a really perfect symbol of pride right there.
Classes, I do also want to inform you that you do get access to your companion skill trees in this menu. But we are told that the companion trees are much more limited than your own player characters.
Oh my fucking god. Bro, you got us out here with a sizable wheel, and your companions have like 5 different nodes in their wheel. Are you fucking... Bro, this is why you can't interact with your own your own NPCs, bro. They lowered the companions, man. They want to be Mass Effect. This is worse than Mass Effect, because Mass Effect, they actually have a good substantial amount of like abilities for your like side characters. Yeah, it's about the same, almost the same size as the main character. The main character has 1 additional bar of skills at the bottom, and it's pertaining to them being a N7 recruit and whatever. They want to be Mass Effect so bad. We also can't switch between companion, which really ticks me off. It really does. They went fucking backwards.
Skill tree. There's still going to be some customization to be had, but according to a few sources, it seems like companions will only have 5 total abilities to...
5? I was just kidding. I was just kidding. Just 5? Holy shit. They might as well not even be in the fight. Let's continue.
To choose from. So I'd expect a much smaller, less detailed skill tree when compared to your player character's class skill tree.
I would not expect that. I'd be like, bro, they must have a cool, oh my God. Bro, in Dragon Age Origins, you literally can change, Morrigan into like a healer. You can change Morrigan into just using earth abilities. You can change Morrigan into just doing lightning and hexes, like, or just being a shapeshifter like she truly is. In Dragon Age Origins, you can turn Alistair into a two-handed brute, like cleaver, like much like Stan can. You can turn Ogrim. I forgot his name. Goddamn. Our drunken dwarf dude, instead of him having a giant axe, you can turn him into a shield, bro, and make him be in the front lines. You have more agency and more options in Origins than you do in FailGuard. Bro, it's FailGuard. My bad. I need to calm down. But let's continue.
Game Informer says that skill points for companions are earned by ranking up companion relationship levels. And
they don't even rank up with fucking XP. They rank up. Wait, so what if I'm an asshole to one of them? Are they not gonna rank up and level up because I'm an asshole to them? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Exactly know what relationship levels means here, so we're gonna have to wait to learn more.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. So I gotta be nice in order for them to level up. Are you fucking kidding me?
The thing that makes me think about is how much a companion likes me. Is that going to affect how many skill points?
My boy Wolfheart knows exactly what's up. My boy thinks, listen, if you want the nice version about a FailGuard, go to Wolfheart. Wolfheart's like, I'm a bit optimistic. I'll try it out. I'm over here like, fuck FailGuard. Go to Wolfheart. I'll put a description down below.
Points I get for that.
If you punch your companions, Ninja Gamer, you lose 2 levels from that character. You want to lose 2 levels from that character? You've been nice to them this whole time, and they had all these abilities. You punch them in the face, they lose like 3 of those abilities.
That companion, I don't think anyone would really like that in a choice-driven RPG, so I'm going to assume that it's not like that. Hopefully we get some more information on what this all means. Okay, on to the classes, and starting off with the Mage class. So the Mage rains down Fury with spells that incinerate, freeze, electrocute, and crush. Some cast from afar, while others prefer close quarters combat.
Okay, that's kind of cool that they're going for a close quarter combat mage, sort of like a battle mage. That sounds interesting. I've been dying for them to do something like that. That's kind of cool. But that 3 window bullshit at the fucking bottom.
The 3 specializations for the Mage class include Deathcaller, Evoker, and Spellblade. And the 3 labeled segments of the middle hexagon ring are Control, Burst, and Sustain. Deathcaller is presumably your necromancy-like subclass, which was a specialization in Dragon Age Inquisition. We don't know much about it yet in this game, but...
Rain, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Kind of like how you can melee with your staff in DA2. Yeah, you can melee, but it's mostly preferred that you're in ranged.
In Inquisition, these mages specialized in binding the spirits that are drawn to death. They can put the fear of death into enemies, bring spirits to fight on their behalf, and even cause devastating explosions when enemies die. Expect FailGuard, of course, to have its own unique spin on this specialization.
I think that's cool that they're bringing a necromancer class, because I'm actually kind of interested. See, that's a new class right there. I can't see why they couldn't branch off from mage, warrior, and rogue. They could have added ranger to have their own thing, and they could have had a healer to have their own thing. I don't know why they could think like, hey, Dragon Age is pretty expansive. How about we add another class? And then 10 years of not even thinking about that. 10 years.
The Evoker specialization appears to be your elemental focused.
Dorian could learn necromancy? Was there necromancy in DA1? I don't remember. But definitely they could have added another class besides rogue, warrior, and mage. And I know there's subclasses, but come on now.
Mage. And we don't have much info on the Evoker, but maybe focus on fire, ice, and lightning. You get the picture. Keep in mind that Nev is an ice mage, and Balara is a mage that focuses on...
I'm gonna be honest, she kind of looks pretty here, but I'm not gonna play the game, so whatever.
Electricity, but these are companions, so they have their own skill tree, so I wouldn't necessarily...
Still saggy tits, though. Let's be honest, still saggy tits.
Really compare them fully to the player character that's playing a mage. And the Spellblade specialization is your combat mage, and this is said to be more of a melee focused specialization. Maybe think of it a little bit like the Knight Enchanter in Inquisition. And these were mages that summon blades into battle and are experts in protection and defense. Do keep in mind that your specialization choice isn't going to be where you always get your favorite abilities though. For example, Wall of Fire is down here in the sustain section of the mage tree. To power your spells with the mage class, there will be a mana resource bar, but we need some more details on it.
Yeah, because I haven't seen a stamina or a mana bar, so I'm wondering where is this? All I see is an AP bar.
And also note that mages do have the ability to block incoming damage with a magical shield, but it does drain your mana. Some of you may be wondering if you'll be able to...
Wait, so is mana going to be that thing that's right below right there? It's right here? Probably.
To get into any blood magic, but unfortunately that's a no for your player character, at least, as BioWare says there are story related reasons. Moving on to the warrior class.
Just let people be a blood mage. Just let people have fun. Listen, I know it's story related, but just let people have fun. For the love of God. It's like, oh man, we had to take away this class because, well, you're the chosen one. Just let people have fun and have the class.
Warriors command the flow of the battlefield. Some lay waste with sword and shield, while others use two-handed weapons to send enemies flying. The three specializations for the warrior are...
If you're able to send enemies flying with a two-handed weapon, this game might pique my interest just a little bit. Because I don't know about you, but flinging enemies off a fucking balcony, like some sort of catapult, it's a man's dream.
Champion, Reaper, and Slayer. The three labeled segments of the inner hexagon ring are survival, weapons, and abilities. So I would guess that the more nodes that you invest into the survival region, the tankier that you'll get, and probably where your tanky abilities can be found. The weapon region is presumably weapon-focused abilities, passives, and traits. In the abilities region, I'm not exactly sure.
I need to know how many points you can get in this game. Like, I really, especially during early game, I need to know how many points you can get in this game, because if there's a gap, he said that you get points when you level, and there's points out in the world that you can get. So I'm really hoping that you can actually fill certain areas up when it comes to points, because I'm gonna let you know right now, I played Path of Exile and I was hurting on some points like later on, and I was like, nah, I want more. They actually hooked you up in Path of Exile, actually.
Now, if we go by...
I would love a beta on this game, but they're not going to do it.
Inquisition's champion description, since we don't know much yet here. Champions are defenders and protectors, and when a warrior trains in the champion's tradition, they become unstoppable. Champions use their armor, weapons, and awareness to shrug off incoming attacks while holding critical positions on the battlefield and protecting allies in the process. So this is likely your tanky specialization. And then for the Reaper specialization and the Slayer specialization...
These 3 points and abilities, it still hurts my damn soul, man. I'm sorry, it hurts my soul to watch. Just 3 abilities. I hope you guys have fun if you play this game. I really do. Just 3 point. Just
We really
three
don't
abilities.
have pretty much any information on these yet, except we know the names now. But there was a Reaver warrior.
That's also another thing he brings up, because they showed us one ability in the gameplay trailer. We don't have information on the abilities and how they're used. We literally have zilch on abilities. We just know that you can use 3 in the wheel. So it's so weird that we got gameplay and we have not seen any abilities except one. I find that very, very odd.
Specialization in Inquisition, where the more damage that you take.
If you're an indie developer or any sort of developer at all, you have to wow your audience now. You have to wow them now. Give them something, a reason to like play their game. Here's a perfect example. Let me give you a perfect example. Here's a perfect example. You have to wow your audience. That gameplay trailer that they gave you that was 25 minutes of barely anything, it was horrendous. But here's a 1 minute and 30-second trailer on Soul Mask. It is an indie developer, by Quilland Games. Campfire Studios made it. But here is a survival game. And let me make the screen bigger. Here is a survival game, and this is the video that they're gonna show you right now. It's literally 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, so already within how many seconds? How many seconds? 15 seconds. 15 seconds in this video. You already could tell that you're out here in the wild. It's an open world. It looks like there's gonna be camps, and it looks like you can do stealth, and it looks like you can get cool armor, and you can subdue certain characters and carry them off. Already that piques my interest. Let's keep going.
Survive in a mysterious open.
All right, already you can tell that the place is really, really open world. Hold on, get this thing out of my fucking way. Okay, looks like you can recruit unique barbarians. So the person that he just captured, he now can recruit them and bring them into their army. So you can build.
Is always exciting.
It looks like they're silly in this game, so that's cool. It looks like you can go into a tub and like build your own like sort of hot springs. You can also bring in the capybara and bring them into the hot tub. That's cool. There's big tittied women in this game. That's cool. Everybody likes big tittied women. That's cool. You can pet animals. That's cool. Weird dances. This game just wants to be fun.
With nearly 300
there's so many unique talents and abilities. Look. Let's see some gameplay. Looks like you can do all this unique stuff. You can do an automated pipeline with all the people that you've captured. You can build. Is there any combat later on? I would like to see some combat. There's mounts in this game. I have so much information in this one. I've only seen 60 seconds of this video, and I'm already invested in this game. When I watched 25 minutes of Dragon Age, I don't know what I got. I got spoilers.
And the longer a battle goes on, basically the crazier, more ruthless and barbaric your warrior becomes. I'm assuming that one of these two, either the Reaper or the Slayer, will take on traits similar to this Reaver specialization. The definition of Reaper is a person or machine that harvests a crop, so that specialization will likely have something to do with harvesting something from your opponents, maybe blood or something else. Now, we don't know exactly what type of resource bar the warrior will have for using abilities, like the mage has mana, but I'm just going to guess it's some type of stamina bar of sorts. The warrior...
Yeah, it's like an AP bar right up there, so it probably grows after if you get hit or you hit the enemy. I think it's mostly you hitting the enemy and doing combos.
It does have the ability to parry, which also staggers opponents, and we have heard of abilities such as kicks and shield throws. And last but not least is the Rogue class, which is what we saw the player character playing as in the gameplay reveal. The Rogue hallmarks are quick movement and reflexes. Whether wielding a bow or dual swords, they use powerful, precise strikes for lethal.
I honestly think that they should add another class and separate the Rogue with the Ranger. Give the Rogue the ability to do dual-handed stuff. Or, man, I have so many ideas for Rogue, but it's not going to pertain to doing ranged weapons. I'm going to give Rogue all the traps necessary that they want to subdue the enemy and do a great amount of CC and do a great amount of crit damage. But I'm going to take out the arrow, the bow and arrow and everything, and put it and give it to a new class. This way I create a new class that has maybe a ranger, the classic sort of, maybe give this ranger the ability to call a companion, maybe give this ranger the ability to you know, pin down enemies with an arrow or something like that, or do great damage from afar. Maybe give a second class, maybe an engineer, give them the ability to shoot automated sort of creations made by dwarves. Maybe make the dwarves be able to create something new, because I find that kind of fascinating that the dwarves would probably do that, kind of like WoW does. WoW has that sort of thing too. But maybe a third class for the ranger. Maybe give somebody the ability to use muskets. You know what I mean? Muskets. Maybe dual-handed small mini crossbows. Ooh, that would be a new class. But they don't got that in here. So I gotta make up the ideas. 10 fucking years they couldn't think of a new class.
Full damage. The three specializations for the Rogue include Duelist, Saboteur, and Veil Ranger. The three labeled segments of the middle hexagon ring are actually the same as the Mage, as we have a sustain section, a burst section, and a control section.
Twin blades? That's what they did in Dragon's Dogma 2. That's what they did in Elden Ring. Yeah, put twin blades in there. Yep, put twins blades in. You're correct. People love that.
I wouldn't expect the actual nodes to be the same as the Mage, though. So you're going to be, you know, kind of going into some of these segments and also choosing a specialization to form your overall build. The Duelist specialization will focus on movement and dodging. It's a highly agile specialization with dual wielding skills.
See the way he moves? See, this is why I think they should have never done this and put Ranger and Rogue in the same field, because look at this. Watch this.
Specialization to form your overall build.
Yeah, the demons look absolutely lame. I'm gonna keep this on the low down low. Some people that work at BioWare kinda are okay with the new design, but they probably like the they probably like the older design better. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna. Let's just say so there's some of the developers that kind of like the old style better than this new aesthetic. I'm just saying. I ain't naming names. Listen. I got a lot of views from the previous video, and some people, let's just say some of the old developers said, "Hey man, I do like the older designs better than the new designs." I was like, "Wow, okay, all right."
The Duelist specialization will focus on movement and dodging. It's a highly...
And some people kind of like this. Some people do like this. And you know what? That's fine. But these demons look horrendous. But yeah, let me go back to the conversation that I was going
form your
about.
overall build.
Watch this.
The duelist specialization.
You see how fast and quick moving the duelist is, you know, doing his abilities. Look,
Will focus on movement and dodging.
look, moving and dodging and stuff, and then watch.
It's a highly agile specialization.
What? You just eliminate your movement when you start using the bow and arrow. Why don't you just let the rogues focus, excuse me, let the rogues focus on their dual wielding sort of traps and covert sort of like stealth style movement. Let them focus on that instead of having to whip out a bow out of nowhere. Because now you have to split. They have to have 2 weapons now. And now their abilities are split into 2 now. Their abilities are split now. So now they have to have maybe, because there's only 3 slots open for abilities, they're either going to have to do 2 abilities for ranged and 1 for melee, or 2 for melee and 1 for ranged. Or they're just going to say fuck all that shit and do complete melee. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you should have put ranger separate from rogue.
With dual wielding skills. The Saboteur focuses on traps and using them to your advantage, similar to Inquisition, I would guess. And the Val Ranger is more of a ranged focus specialization, where your rogue will stay more towards the back lines using a range of weapons, which includes a bow, of course. Now,
yeah, you know how the rogue, the physics in this game look weird. They're much better in DA1. If you abruptly change direction, your character would skid. Here, he just stops. Interesting. I never noticed that. I love the quick recover in FailGuard, to be honest. I'll give them that. Yeah, it's kind of nice. The only thing that I kind of don't like is, well, there's a lot that I don't like, is what I was saying when it comes to Rogue. Let Rogue have 3 different weapon styles and subclasses that are pertaining to close range. Here's a good one. One of the rogues has dual daggers. Maybe another rogue ability has 1 blade that's kind of like a falchion or a rapier, sort of like a duelist sort of style. Maybe they have a rapier on one hand and a sort of mechanic sort of, maybe on the other hand, let them have some sort of device that lets them, you know, manipulate the playfield or something like that. Something cool. And on the third one, maybe let them have chakrams, you know? Something like chakrams, or maybe have them have claws. Something like that. Something to give Rogue more roguish sort of style. Maybe katanas. They probably might not do katanas, and that's fine. It's probably no katanas in this world. It depends. But give them something to where it's just like, yo, Rogue could be a rogue. You could be a duelist sort of rogue, or you can be like a mysticism kind of rogue. Kind of like Elden Ring. Yeah, kind of like Elden Ring.
I read that in an article, so I'm not exactly sure what a range of weapons means. Like, you would think that there's a ton of weapons to choose from. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm expecting daggers and a bow, but we'll have to wait and see. Rogues will have a unique momentum resource bar to fuel their abilities, and the more attacks that you land, the quicker the bar will build up, allowing you to use abilities. But also, when you take damage, the momentum bar goes down. So this class is...
Fans are going to come in here and they're mostly used to the whole style of people that like Dragon Age for one reason and one reason only. The tactical style of placing your allies in a certain area to make sure to protect the back line, and have the front line full of, like, you know, melee people, your champion, all that sort of rogue stuff, all that sort of things. And then you're trying to plan out, and you pause the area, and then you try to plan out what you want to do in that sort of situation at that time to be tactful. Now they're telling players, fuck all that shit. You have to go into this game without getting hit. Now the players have to be good at hacks. You were good at planning. You were good at being tactful in previous Dragon Age games, but now you have to play a hack and slash game and not get hit. Because if you get hit and you suck at making combos, well then, hun, you're not going to be able to use your abilities. That's what this is. You've ultimately changed the game. Because I'm going to watch a couple of ladies that come into this game and they're really good at being tactful in DA original games, and then they're going to come in here and be like, I'm not really good at hack and slash. I'm not good at that sort of thing. I get hit a lot. They don't understand their player base. Is
incentivized to dish out damage quickly while also avoiding damage. And you can really build your playstyle around the momentum bar if you really want to focus on that. The rogue, like the warrior, does get a parry, but the parry window is apparently much more lenient and allows more time than the warrior class gets. So what class and specialization are you thinking about playing in this game? Once we get more information, I will of course update this video, so before the game launches you have a full video that can help
Morning Stars are an Inquisition? Dope.
you make that choice. Feel free to join the community Discord server. The link is down below. We have some fantastic discussions going on over there, and also consider following me on Twitch.
This KCD thing. That's Wolfheart right there. We have one last video, and you're not gonna like what you hear. This is by Spell Shield. Shout out to Wolfheart, by the way. This is by Spell Shield and Shield. We're gonna talk to him. I like this guy.
One that is likely to have some of the most important consequences for the rest of the game. Normally, games, and especially very hyped up games with big releases, like the player to go in completely blind and not experience things that could be considered spoilers.
And this is more pertaining to the story, by the way.
But to recap, we now know that Solus will be trapped in the Fade after Rook attempts to interrupt his ritual, which accidentally leads to the release of 2 of the Evanuris, and Solus acts as an advisor and or voice in the head of Rook as they become permanently linked, with Rook's blood having mingled with the magic of the ritual. It might even be the case that Rook and Solus are inextricably linked in the sense of their lives depending on each other, though I'm speculating here. And if this were true, it would be eerily reminiscent of Johnny Silverhand's relationship with V in Cyberpunk 2077.
God. As much as I love Johnny Silverhand and all that stuff, having them come back after 10 years and then pulling off a Johnny Silverhand with Solus is absolutely dog shit. So now Solus is just following me around. This elven, bald weirdo is just watching me dick down Harding. And then he's just, what is he doing? Is he watching with me? Is he watching? Is that what we're doing? I don't know, man. We came here to see Solus, not hear him through our head.
We'll just have to wait and see. But as I said, it's a fairly bold move, and one that was clearly done for a reason, if not for several. If I had to guess, there are 2 primary reasons for this. The first is that BioWare is aware that a large contingent of people are very familiar with the lore, and desire to experience more of it, or perhaps better put, a climax to it, especially as it concerns Solus, who is one of, if not the most pivotal figures in the history of Thetis. Everyone wants to know what happens next, including myself, and massive spoilers of the sort that were featured in Game Informer whet the appetite immensely, thus ensuring first-day purchases. Dragon Age: The FailGuard is almost guaranteed to be the most important title in this series concerning some of the biggest mysteries of Thetis. Letting us know something as big as this makes us more likely to purchase the game to discover those mysteries. The second reason is intimately tied to the first, in the sense that it's been 10 years of waiting.
10 years.
And in that time, much has happened to BioWare. Many failures have been documented.
If I remember correctly, they said 60 plus people have left BioWare mid creation of Dragon Age FailGuard. It could be possible that some of them just didn't like the vision, and it could be something completely different. Yeah, 60 people, a lot of people that you probably know and love from the previous Dragon Age, a lot of them left. This isn't the same BioWare that you know.
From Andromeda to Anthem to mass cuts and firings, public faith in BioWare has been at an all-time low, and BioWare needed to do something that could reinstill that faith in their fans, former or otherwise, by revealing such a key plot point, as Solus becoming effectively the advisor.
Yeah, they do sound like they're the Inquisition. Yeah, too many cooks spoil the broth too, so I don't know what they're doing with the story right now. So, we'll see. Well, everything that I've seen in this game is all safe. Everything is safe. I do like the raindrops, though. The raindrops are a very, very nice touch.
To Rook, the protagonist, and the Evaners escaping, BioWare is trying to show the world that big things and big events are happening in this game, and that they mean business. And truly, from a marketing perspective, I don't think it's that bad an idea. And I think that Dragon Age, the FailGuard, will likely end up selling pretty well overall. All of that said, that doesn't mean that all of us were incredibly happy with some of the details revealed in that Game Informer article. And indeed, a more recent Game Informer article shed even more light upon the plot of Rook's relationship to Solus, essentially telling us exactly what the relationship will look like.
Yeah, why are they telling so much to Game Informer? Why are they giving us so much information? I have a strong feeling that this game either is not coming out 2024, or they're trying desperately to make sure that the old fans still come over, which for me, it ain't gonna happen.
In terms of its mechanics, though, not necessarily in its details.
Desperate, yeah.
The article also stresses several important points of Solus's place in the game, which is likely talked about because prior to these most recent revelations, most of us had assumed Solus would be the big enemy in the game.
Yeah,
so
a lot of us
let's check out
did.
some of these highlights from the...
We thought Solus was going to be so huge, and you gave us Solus, and you said his body is gone, but his spirit lives on, brother. His spirit lives on, brother. He's with you 24/7, bruh. And I'm like, I don't want to see a spirit. I want Solus up to no good. But now, oh my God, this is the worst time. This is the worst way to see Solus.
The article. Though Johnny Solus Hand is no longer the main enemy.
Johnny Solus Hand, shut the fuck up. You ain't shit for that one. You ain't shit for that. Johnny Solus Hand?
He still remains important. Quote, Solus is still a central figure in it. He's still a significant character. But really, the focus shifts to the team. It's about the people you recruit. It's about stopping the end of the world with this group of specialists, these incredibly interesting and diverse characters that you recruit into your team. We realize Dreadwolf suggests a title focused on a specific individual, whereas the FailGuard, much like Inquisition, focuses on the team. So here we again hear that the reason for the name shift was reflective of the importance of the team you're building and leading in Dragon Age the FailGuard. But we kind of already knew that.
Yeah,
so what's
we already
really
knew
big
that.
reveal? Quote, when I ask about Solus's role in the story, after I learn his namesake is no longer in the game title, Dara says FailGuard is still taking the Elven Gods narrative in a good direction. He adds, it allows us to hopefully give a good conclusion to all those varied attitudes towards Solus that are going to be coming from people who love Solus, who agree with Solus, who hate Solus, people who want to kick Solus off a building. I think that we give you the opportunity to bring that to a close, and then tell a greater story about the FailGuard and about the world as a whole. Talking to Epler, I learned more about how Solus isn't exactly the big bad I expected before seeing the opening hours of FailGuard. There's a lot more nuance to everyone's favorite bald elf. Quote,
those are the guys right there. That just pop out of the you know, the portal right over there. They come out of the jail that they were in. The most interesting villains to myself, and honestly most people, are not just straight up, I want to end the world. To them, they are the heroes of the story, and Solus is no exception. Epler tells me. Solus always feels that he is a tragic hero, but a hero nonetheless. So he's coming into the believing firmly that what he did, that which you stopped him from doing, was the right thing, that you made a mistake, but now he's trapped and can't reach out and actively affect status, so he needs to work with you. That allows us to provide a lot of nuance to the relationship. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like they want us so strongly to like sympathize for Solus. They want us to sympathize with Solus so much that we're with Solus 24/7. I think the best way to know if we can sympathize with someone is for them to set them free. If you set them free and Solus does whatever the hell he wants, you can judge him from that. Not him being caged up in your head 24/7 like Johnny Solus hand. I think, what is the best way to find out if someone is actually a good person even though they did something bad? It's to let them be free and do whatever the hell they want. If they are trapped within you and they wholly rely on you getting out, he could fucking lie. He could tell the truth. He could sway you from left to right, depending on your situation. If you set Solus free and let him do what he wants, you'll find out exactly what Solus is. Like, for instance, setting demons free is basically what he doesn't care about humans. You heard him. He said, yo, people die all the time. It's what they do. That's exactly who Solus is. He just said people die all the time. It's what they do. And you want me to sympathize with Solus later on? Are you fucking kidding me after what he just said? Are you fucking kidding me? Solus is gonna be like, man, I was just doing it to save the elves. Nah, bruh, I heard what you said. That psychotic bullshit back then at the gameplay theater, where you're just like, yo, humans are just, they could pop at any moment. They could easily die. I just heard that. So this whole thing where they're just like, well, now we have to cooperate. I don't want to fucking cooperate with them. I feel like you know somebody well by just letting them do whatever the hell they want.
Opening hours of FailGuard. There's a lot more nuance to everyone's favorite bald elf. Quote, the most interesting villains to myself, and honestly most people, are not just straight up, I want to end the world. To them, they are the heroes of the story. And Solus is no exception, Epler tells me. Solus always feels that he is a tragic hero, but a hero nonetheless. So he's coming into this firmly believing that what he did, that which you stopped him from doing, was the right thing, that you made a mistake. But now he's trapped and can't reach out and actively affect Thetis, so he needs to work with you. That allows us to provide a lot of nuance to that relationship, Epler says. If you're wondering what Epler means when he says Solus is trapped, it's quite literal. In the game's prologue, which is part of the 20-minute gameplay segment BioWare recently released, the player character Rook and companions Lace Harding, Varric Tethris, and Neve Gellus stop Solus' attempt to destroy the Veil, a barrier between the magical Fade and Thetis. I won't spoil exactly what happened.
Define nuance? The BioWare team is super progressive to where they think that even if they're bad, you can still sympathize with them. Kind of like with most, kind of like Final Fantasy 14, where the big bad was the Asians, and then the characters were like, well, we gotta sympathize with them. And I'm just like, nah, they're trying to destroy my world. I ain't sympathizing with that. And then the characters are like, you remember what they said? And I'm just over here, this is another moment where it's just like, yeah, they're bad, but they were doing it for a good reason. No, get them the fuck out of here. I'm tired of this whole bullshit where like, well, if you can understand them from another perspective, they just killed a family of 4. Get this bald elf bitch out of here. What the hell are you talking about? Oh my God, bro. Oh God, I don't know why progressive people just like to do this whole thing where it's just like, oh man, he's opening the veil, people are dying, Solus, my buddy, my friend. You remember when Varric was like, he's gotta listen to me? I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about, Varric? Shoot him in the back of the head and call it a day. Shoot him in the back of the head. He just killed a whole bunch of people. Shoot him in the back of the head and call it a fucking day. I'm tired of this whole like, bro, he's like a, he's like, you could sympathize with him. He's a hero in his own right. Nah, get him out of here.
But Rook passes out moments later and wakes up in a dreamlike landscape to the voice of Solus himself, because he's trapped here. Cue Johnny Solus Hand. He explains that he was tempting to move Elgar'nan and Gil-Lanain, both of whom are parts of the Evernurse, or elven gods of ancient times, to a new prison because the old one was no longer containing them properly. Unfortunately for Solus, he's trapped here, the Fade, by our doing, and Elgar'nan and Gil-Lanain are free, blighted, and roaming Thedas. It's up to Rook to stop them, but it seems they'll have to work with Solus, or at least listen to his guidance and advice to do so. Epler says players will see early on as the narrative develops across FailGuard that Solus sees much of himself in you, the player-controlled Rook.
Solus sees much of himself in you? Wouldn't that be the Inquisitor, maybe? Why Rook? What the hell are you... I hate this talk to where they're just like, "Ah, man, I see much of myself in you." And I'm like, bro, I'm just a kid that wants to play a video game. What do you mean? I hope he says that later on in the game, like way late game. There's an option where he's like, "Yo, we're nothing alike," or he says, "I see much of myself in you." I hope there's a branching path. I hope he doesn't just say that straight off of the back, like, "Yeah, you like me, bro. You're just like me." And I'm like, bro, I didn't open the veil. You did. What the fuck?
Especially the parts that maybe...
Johnny Silverhand said the same thing, and you had an option to tell him to go fuck himself or agree, and there was a third option where it was just like, just fuck off. Johnny Silverhand, yeah, I remember that.
He doesn't like to face. As a result, there's an interesting push and pull between Solus and Rook. He says players can define the relationship between these two characters with their choices and dialogue. Quote, "You can continue to be suspicious and hostile towards him, or you can start to see him and find that common ground, that connection between the two of you, and really develop a different relationship over the course of the story," Epler says. Okay, all of this confirms something significant. Solus is effectively a Johnny Solus Hand advisor to you. It also seems that Johnny Solus Hand is going to be able to telepathically communicate with you, and in some sense is basically stuck inside your head, just like Johnny Silverhand is in V's head. And I have to wonder if this entire setup is just a coincidence or something more. I'm still not sure how I feel about Solus in an advisory position, being removed from an original expectation as the primary villain.
Yeah, I really don't like that. It would have been really cool to have all three of them being like on the same side or something like that. But I guess it would have been kind of interesting to have three antagonists. Which one appeals to you more? Having an antagonist in your brain and you having two antagonists that are your enemy, or having three antagonists and they all have their different reasons for what they do? Which one appeals to you more?
A complicated villain to be sure, but still a villain. Nevertheless, we're stuck with what we have. I think it's still possible to have a decent story evolve from the initial bloopers on the part of both Solus and Rook. And I still think it's possible for Johnny Solus Hand to be the villain we've always imagined him to be, at least in part. It would be unreasonable for us, for example, to assume that just because Johnny Solus Hand is now trapped in the Fade, that he's completely given up his original plan. But of course, he has to have his priorities. He obviously cannot allow the Evernurse to escape, who've been let loose to rampage across Thedas, but that doesn't mean he cannot nudge Rook in certain directions that would be beneficial to Solus Hand's long-term and ultimate plan. This is particularly true if Rook is a mage, or even more so an elf, or perhaps even more so than all of that, an elven mage veil jumper. Perhaps an elven character could be convinced of Solus's vision and plan in much the way Solus's female elven inquisitor lover
we don't know
could
yet.
be convinced. And that too is a factor, as we know that the Inquisitor will play some important role in the game, not least of which with Johnny Solus Hand. Maybe the Inquisitor is sympathetic to Solus. BioWare has hinted that the relation...
I don't know, is the Inquisitor gonna show in this new one? Oh, the idea of Elgar'nan and Gil-Lanain fighting Solus for top villain position would be nice. It would. 3 villains fighting amongst each other while also trying to gain control over the world. That would be kind of really cool. Yeah, the Inquisitor is returning. I hope my Inquisitor shows up with like 5 kids from Cassandra. Trust me, Cassandra's got kids. I beat that shit down. I just want to see that. You know what? I don't even want to see Cassandra in the new game. They're gonna fuck that shit up. They're gonna fuck that. I don't want to see Cassandra, because Cassandra's gonna look like, I don't know what Cassandra's gonna look like. I don't want to see Cassandra. I'll see my Inquisitor, but not Cassandra. No, they'll fuck that up.
Relationship between Rook and Johnny Solo's hand could get quite complex and deep, so depending on how this is done, it could actually be quite good, despite the fact that this could have been set up much better. You take what you can get, and perhaps most importantly in all of this is the fact that Rook needs Solus. He's one of the most powerful mages that has ever lived and has succeeded in imprisoning immortal elven mages who would be gods. His knowledge is absolutely essential to defeating Elgar'nan and Gil'Anain. And again, he may or may not reveal everything he knows to Rook in an effort to steer things in the direction he desires. So I would say that although this beginning, in my view, is a fairly rough start, and I could have thought of several other ways of starting the game, it's also not the worst in the sense that Johnny Solo's role remains essential. And if the writing is good, there still could be depth, subtlety, and I truly hope some subversion of expectations. This is true, as thus far, so much of what has been revealed seems to be a confirmation of every theory all the most devoted lore mongers of Dragon Age have come up with, and props to them for being correct. But I'd really like to be surprised as well, and have my expectations.
Yeah, I want to be surprised, besides them just giving me so much. They give us so much information, because now I'm not surprised anymore. I'm gonna see it and be like, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Yep.
Subverted by finding out things we didn't.
Yeah, my opinion. Yeah, what he said. Say it again.
Really like to be surprised as well, and have my expectations subverted.
Yeah, my expectations subverted. We like surprises. I had a whole bunch of surprises with Cyberpunk, but with this game, they're just like, in 2 months we're gonna know the whole story. Game Informer's just gonna give us a whole bunch of shit.
By finding out things we didn't expect or know. There are, of course, many critical lore-related questions I expect to be answered in Dragon Age, the FailGuard, so at least it has that going for it. But that's a topic for another video and another time. Thank you all for watching. If you like my content, you can leave a like.
Yeah, this guy, Solus, is around where my brain is with this game. Please sure give him a like. Spell and Shield. He's only got 15k subscribers. He deserves more. Really nice voice. Yeah, I'm with him on that. Listen, we've already had our Johnny Solus hand, and it's called Johnny Silverhand. We can understand an enemy even though they're not there. Even though they're, let's say for example, Solus is, let's just say holding up a city like, let's say Mintharis. Let's say he's holding up like a whole city, but he didn't kill anybody, and everybody is safe, but he didn't kill anybody. He held the place up, but he didn't kill anybody. No innocents were killed, everything like that. That gives you like a sense that Solus isn't here to kill. This is just an example, by the way. It gives you a sense to where it's like, okay, Solus's prime objective is something else entirely. He's not here to kill. He's out here trying to get his homeland back. He's an elven god. He's got his priorities, you got yours. But it gives you a sense to where he's just like, he cares about life. Instead of just having Solus with you 24/7 going, hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. I really do hope this game is going to be good for you guys, because I ain't seen it. I am not seeing it. Anyway, that's my rant for now. Really do appreciate it. I guess we'll know more in the months to come. They said it's this year, but I don't think it's going to be this year that it's going to come out. But we'll see. Anyway, let's play some video.